I'm in shock that Sean Connery is synonymous for me with the beginnings of my career. The Hunt for Red October was my intro in the film world. I was, Sam Neill and Alec Baldwin, and they all just wrapped me up and took such good care of me. Sean was a force on the set. He was, as we all knew, we only had him for a month, and he said, "You better use me for that time, and there should be no smoke on the set. No smoke." He had just had throat surgery, so that was a time when they were just the set was it's like a veritable cloud on the set, atmospheric smoke, and it couldn't have been good for any of us because at that point they were, whatever they were using, but it was so smoked up in there. And as soon as he was ready to come on the set, there was just like bells and whistles were going off. He's on his way. He's on his way. No, to get the smoke out of here. Everybody was just going through the set doing this, and he came on the set. It was just, he commanded respect of everyone. And when you think about his long and storied career, as I was reading his obituary today in the New York Times, I was just struck by how he said about his Scottish roots, and that he would not, he didn't want to become an English gentleman. He didn't want them to make him anew. He said, "I'm going to remain who I am. This is my roots. I love my country, and I'm a man of the people." And I love that about him. He didn't suffer fools. He didn't want to be treated any different than anyone else. And he wanted he really was about the work, and which is why I think his greatest work it was after he was Bond, James Bond. And he wanted that. He wanted to be able to, and he didn't mind being, old and fuddity, with Harrison Ford, playing Harrison Ford's father. So in a real sense, we know him almost just as well, if not more so, after James Bond. So that's a testament to him.
This is really shocking news in a way. People have grown up with Sean Connery. Sean Connery is an icon of cinema. He's the James Bond for many of us. And we have come to know him as just a great actor, great all-around actor, an icon, a titan of cinema. And for many of us, he's the James Bond. And so this is a huge loss for the cinematic community, for culture. And it's just one of those things where you believe that someone like this will be around forever.
I mean, certainly Sean Connery's legacy is always going to be wrapped up in Bond. I mean, he was basically an unknown actor when he took on that role, and he was cast without a screen test, iconically, because he just had such a tall, dark, and wonderfully imposing presence. He was very, very tall, 6'2". And I think for a while, he walked away from Bond at 41 after immense success, and he became the top box office star in Britain and the US. And he sort of resented that people associated him so intrinsically with that role for a little while, and he wanted to try other things, and he had great success in his 50s too. He won an Oscar at 57 for The Untouchables, and went on to obviously play Indiana Jones's father, and I think at a certain point he finally reached peace with Bond too. I think he even joked when he accepted his Oscar that he was Connery, Sean Connery.
The clothes, the fashion, the watches, the cars, all of that was packaged around Sean Connery. And of course, yeah, schmish, money, penny. The way he spoke and what he brought to that character, it wasn't just the way he looked, it was the way he sounded, his physical presence. I mean, this was not a small guy. He was a big guy, and you believed he could do all those things he was doing on screen in terms of the fight scenes and the driving and just all of that. Some of the content of those James Bond movie today, we kind of look back and cringe a little bit, but that was the product of the time. And, you know, on the Mount Rushmore of iconic actors and roles, you have put Sean Connery as James Bond on that cinematic Mount Rushmore.